Oh, hello YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, I'm going to be doing my end of May wrap up. So here's the deal. I read a fair amount of books the second half of May, but most of them were for special projects that I've already reviewed them. So that doesn't leave like a ton left to review for today, but you know what? We're gonna do it anyway. So first things first, I read The Odyssey. I made a whole Drunk Classics about it. So if you want to check out that complete journey review, the link is up here. Go check that out. I read that one. And then I also read Book of Night by Holly Black. And this was for my patron book club. If you want to join my Patreon or be a member on this channel, the links are in the description down below if you want to check those out. And for May, our book club pick was Book of Night by Holly Black. I very much enjoyed this. I ended up giving it like 4.5, rounded up to 5 stars. And I think just it was made of catnip for me. You know what I mean? I love like a good heist story. I love con people, women or men. I like con people. And I like shadowy dark magics, and I like morally gray kind of characters. So all of that one book. Did I find things somewhat predictable? For me, yes. Like I guessed some of the twists like right away. However, they're good twists, so I didn't mind that they happened still. Like I wasn't upset that I guessed the twist because it's a good twist. But I'm not the average audience member because I read so many books that like surprising me is quite difficult. So I'm not holding that against the book because I would have wrote that twist too. I think that's really good. Basic gist here, there's Charlie, right? And she used to be a con woman. She's trying to be on the straight and narrow. She's working at this bar, right? And in this world, there are something called glow mists and stuff, but basically shadows have magic. Maybe it's a messed up Peter Pan type of thing. But shadow magic is a thing. People can like remove other people's shadows or do adjustments to their shadows to give them extra abilities. Shadow magic. And Charlie just wants to live a simple life, but you know, as soon as you get out, you get pulled right back in. So she has to pull the con of all cons to try to get her way out of some trouble that she's in. And there's like creepy magic along the way. And I very much enjoyed it. So I gave it 4.5, rounded up to 5 stars. Very good. This was my book club pick. So every month we do a member and patron exclusive live show where we all discuss the book. So that's all there. But yes, I very much enjoyed. Please check it out. Okay, so that's all of the special project books. And then I read a few more books that were on my TBR list and not on my TBR list. I just kind of went a little rogue. So let's just get into those. You know, I'm just going to start things off with Gentle Rogue by Joanna Lindsey. I DNF'd this, and I don't know 100% know if I was fair to DNF it, but like, okay, here's the deal. Like, I read like a chapter of this, and like, the visceral hatred I had for this book was so high that like, I couldn't read anymore, and I know like I don't do that. I don't. Like, I give it at least like 100 pages. It's usually my goal. Like, if it hasn't sold me in 100 pages, it's probably not going to sell me. I read like 20 pages. Like, how long is this first chapter? It's really short. Oh gosh, it's even shorter than I thought it was. Yeah, it's 8 pages. Okay, I read 2 chapters then because I know I got further than that. Yeah, I got to page 14 of this, and I just like viscerally hated it. So much. It just the character was just obnoxious, and I didn't like the writing style. And I know Joanna Lindsey is OG romance. I get it. I appreciate the clinch cover. It's gorgeous. However, just the visceral hatred I had for this book, I could not proceed on with it. Maybe someday I'll try it again, but why would I do that to myself? So I'm just gonna move on. And just maybe it was that day and my mood that day. I don't know, but it was just so visceral. Like I couldn't go on with this. So yeah, it's a DNF. I'm moving on. Okay, so next category is contemporary romance, and I read 2 of them. I read I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This was not on my TBR list, but like I had it. I wanted to read it. I did it. This was a me book. I wanted to do it. And I'm a Casey McQuiston fan in general. I've liked both of their other books. And so moving on to this one, I had a reservation going into this, was that it was YA contemporary. And I'm like, I am so hit or miss with YA contemporary. Like sometimes I can get into it. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm a full ass adult. I can't generally relate to some things, but I'm not supposed to. I'm not the target audience for that book. But this one, I was like, it's Casey McQuiston. I don't think she's going to steer me wrong. And guess what? Didn't steer me wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Again, I might be, custom fit for this book. It has a lot of my catnip in here. We're following this girl, Chloe. She moved to a small town in Alabama and goes to a very small Christian academy. As someone who also went to a very small Christian school, like, I felt seen for a lot of this. I mean, have you met me? Do you think I did well in small Christian school? Like, I didn't. So, I just related to a lot of the stuff that was going on in the book. And I think this is especially, I don't know, I think if you wanted to be argumentative, you could say this is reductive, or maybe inspired by would be a polite way of saying Paper Towns by John Green, because it has a very similar concept. But basically, there is the wonder Christian child, Shara Wheeler, like the principal's kid, the modern Christian example girl. Not that she's like awful or anything. She's just is who she is, but kind of Chloe's nemesis in a way. And one day, Shara kisses Chloe and two other people, and then disappears and leaves little clues around to so they can find her, essentially. And here's the thing. When I compare this to Paper Towns, which is obviously a big part of the plot of this book, Paper Towns and this one, I actually like Shara Wheeler much more than I liked the main character, the missing character, I would say, from Paper Towns. I don't remember their name right now, but that character is downright unlikable. This character, I'm like, I understand. Like, I get it. I get why you'd want to run away. So, like, I don't know. I feel like this took that and made it better and more queer. And I appreciate that very much. It's a little bit of a found family situation. It's sticking it to the man. There's all that going on in the background, as well as kind of a treasure hunt romance. And I enjoyed it. Don't be put off that it's YA. It's a good one. I think it's kind of timeless in a way. It was really fun. I also read The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. And this was so hype for me. Like, this was one of my most anticipated reads for the year. I pre-ordered it. In the end, did I enjoy this? Yeah, I gave it like 4 stars. I had a good time with it. Overall, I think I liked the first book of this series, The Worst Best Man, better, but this one is still pretty fun. So this is Solange and Dean. And basically, Solange, she is like helping her cousin out work for this wedding, and she catches the bride in flagrante with someone not the groom, like right before the wedding. And she can't let this poor guy go through with the wedding, so she literally crashes the wedding, and she's like, hey, like, I object. Someone objected to the wedding. And it's kind of a mess from there. But the guy getting married is like a friend of hers, so they're like they're on the outsides of this Venn diagram of their friend group. But eventually things happen where he needs a fake girlfriend and she needs a fake boyfriend for things, and then like they get put together into a fake dating situation. And of course, fake dating situations always start to feel very real all of a sudden. And there are some obstacles in their way, mainly just because I don't think either of them are ready for a relationship of this magnitude yet, but they're getting there together. So it is a lot of like someone going, I don't know, I'm freaking out. But at the same time, it's steamy, it's fun. I had a really good time with this. I would definitely read more books in this series. Again, if you're like a foodie romance reader, so much Brazilian food, you're gonna crave it. I hope you can get Brazilian food in your area. If you can't, I feel bad for you. But yeah, so much of that is in the book, and it makes you hungry, but in the best way. Last category is sci-fi, and I read one of them. I read The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, and chef's kiss, love this. Like, I went into this knowing I was probably gonna love it because I love John Scalzi books in general, and this one did not disappoint. Like, oh my gosh, look at the tabs. I tabbed the heck out of this book, and I don't tab anything ever. And I tabbed this one for every time there was a line so funny, I had to stop reading and laugh for like a minute straight. So like, yeah, it's funny. It's an understatement because I tabbed the heck out of this. So basic story here is the beginning of 2020. And there's this guy named Jamie. He gets fired from like his job and he's now delivering food in the midst of a pandemic. COVID-19 is real in this book and does have a place in the book, in the world it's happening in. And he's a food delivery person just trying to get by. And he starts going to deliver food to this guy named Tom, who is someone he kind of knew from like college. And eventually Tom's like, hey, this company I work for is looking for a new person. I think you'd be good for it. Do you want to do it? He's like, yes, I'll do literally anything. Like, I need money. So hence the Kaiju Preservation Society. And basically there is a rip in the dimensional fabric they can exploit and go into another dimension, essentially another world, another Earth, where the same events that happened on Earth to shape it to where it is now did not happen. So it's a weird, different planet, but at the same time, a different dimension of the planet we're on. So there's literal kaijus on it. And it's like all of these monsters who have no known biology that makes any sense to any of us as like normal carbon-based humans and beings on this planet. They're a completely other thing. And it's a lot of world building because there's all these different creatures in this world. And of course, they have to try to preserve these kaijus because one, if they come over through the rift to Earth, well, that's going to be a problem. Hence Godzilla. Like maybe it wasn't all that fake of a story. And they don't want Earthlings going over there because it's a mess. And like basically, the worlds have to be separate and preserved. And of course, some people try to exploit that for evil means, and they're going to have to save the day. And I loved it. It's incredibly funny. If you're a big nerd, you like sci-fi books, you're just nerdy in general, you're going to have a ball with this. Like, I tabbed the heck out of this. Like, I'm pretty nerdy, and I laughed at so many nerd jokes in this. It's so funny. And the science feels realistic and at the same time almost sarcastic. So it's like, it's not so science dumpy that like the average reader's gonna go like, oh my God, I don't care about physics. But like there's enough science in it that it feels like science fiction where like this could be possible and it makes sense. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't recommend John Scalzi enough in general, but Kaiju Preservation Society, very fun, very short. I think it's a little under 300 pages, so you could probably read it in a day, but highly recommend. So fun. All right, well, that does it for all the rest of the books I read in May. I didn't do a lot of reading in May. I think it was an underperforming month in general, but you know what? I was really busy and that's okay. Like I don't have to force myself to read. That's like a realization I've had recently where like forcing myself to read all these books, it just makes it less fun. So I'm trying to take some time for myself as well and not force things. So I read fewer books, but I'm okay with it. Let me know in the comments down below. What was one of your favorite books you read in May? Or hey, are you getting burnt out on reading and you need to take breaks? What's happening in your life? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you'd like cool exclusive content and the book club, the links to my members and my Patreon are in the description down below. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Bye!